yeah, we've got a few slides on the tracking. I've got a few things to add there definitely, but just breaking down these macros. Fats, having just touched on the fats, they are not bad, and they should not be excluded from your diet. Fats are essential. Your body does not function properly without them. Most people's diet should be about 30% fats. The key thing to remember is that the calorie content of fat is a lot higher than your other macros. It's more than double. 4 calories per gram for carbs and protein, 9 for fats. So that's why you need to be careful with them, not because they shouldn't be there, just because they add up quick. Your body needs fat for, it's a major source of energy, nutrient absorption, cell function, hormone production. That's a huge one, especially for women. If you cut out too much fat, you're going to be all over the place. Brain and eye health, concentration, brain fog. A lot of these things are exacerbated if you're not having enough fats. And really, there's no plant-derived fats are going to be your best source and should be the bulk of what you have. Animal fats are not bad. You just need to manage that quantity. The only fats that you really have no place in your diet are trans fats. These are not naturally occurring. These are created in what they call the food manufacturing process, and everything about that sentence sounds wrong to me because food should be whole. But if it's getting over processed, that fat byproduct in it, that's got no function within your body. But yeah, anything else to add to that one? Got a little diagram for you of the types of fats. And your little pyramid. So obviously, like your cakes at the top, that's where your trans fats come in. But your plant-derived and animal-derived fats are the ones that you want to have the most of. Sure.
The most ready meals, do you mean like just the standard ones, not like the core meals and stuff?
No, core meals are actually designed with like more health conscious people in mind, yeah. And really, yeah, you're talking about like, you know, your Twinkies and your like even muesli bars and things like that. If you're not making it yourself, there's a whole heap of shit in there. Yeah. Anything that comes in like a shiny wrapper, and even most of the time anything that comes in a shiny wrapper that says health food.
Nutri-grain.
Yeah.
Nutri-grain, oh my
Iron
God.
Man food.
Iron Man, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
saying that it's fine. Like we had a conversation about core meals, but then I saw that and I was like, oh.
Yeah. So that's essentially, that's not what we mean when we're saying processed, because it's basically like a cooked meal that's been pre-prepared for you versus, yeah, like when you can't even pronounce some of the ingredients on the back. Like, those things aren't foods and should not be ingested. Next one, carbs. Carbs have been painted as the villain by a lot of people, especially diet culture, especially when it comes to women. Oh, I don't eat carbs and I'm off the carbs, and it's carbs are essential. Like if you're not getting them in, you're not going to get the energy that you need to function. There's also a lot of misconception around what is a carb. Some people think it's only bread and pasta and cakes, that's carbs. Carbs are in everything. Your vegetables have carbs. Like they're literally in everything that's not a pure protein. So choosing the quality of your carbs is really important. And the timing of your carbs is really important as well if you are looking to lose or gain weight.
So yeah, like everything that's got like a high amount of fiber in it is generally a carb, and fiber is really important for digestion.
It's really important for your overall gut health, and all health comes from gut health. Like, can't stress that enough. Fiber, super important. Your simple carbs, they have a place. So things like bagels, breads, and all of that, they do have a place, but it really depends on what your goals are as to how much of those you have and when you have them. In terms of best choices for your health when it comes to breads, a true sourdough, true fermented sourdough. A lot of the things that are sold in the supermarket as sourdough just taste like sourdough. They're not actually gone through the fermentation process. Those things are generally going to be a lot better for your gut health and still have the carb in them. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, anything else to add? Carbs are really important before and after you train. fuel your body. If you're taking it in before and after you train, it's going to go where it needs to go. Your muscles are going to learn to pull it in, as opposed to if you're eating carbs and then being sedentary, or eating a heap of carbs and then going to bed. It's going to have a completely different effect on your body, even if the overall carb content of the day is the same.
When you're doing exercise in particular, carbohydrates is your body's preferred fuel source. So you're going to get a lot better output if your muscles are saturated with glycogen, which is essentially derived from carbohydrates. So the more output you have with your training session, then will lead to greater muscle gain. And the more muscle you have, the more calories you can consume to maintain your existing muscle mass, and the process kind of goes so forth.
The alcohol effect, the macronutrient that's not talked about that much. This one actually does have a different caloric content as well. So alcohol on its own, not the drink that it's mixed in, alcohol on its own is 7 calories per gram. The problem with alcohol goes far beyond that though, because obviously nobody's drinking pure alcohol, I hope. So whatever it's mixed with has a caloric content. Again, not that big of a deal. Your standard drink you can probably fit into your day as long as you're not drinking in excess. But what happens is the way that your body treats alcohol is a toxin. It's a poison, and your body will prioritize getting it out over and above everything else. So the caloric content of your drinks and anything else that you consume while there is alcohol in your body is going into storage while your body prioritizes getting the alcohol out of your system. So when we drink, we are more likely to snack on crap because all of those functions are inhibited.
Because Pizza Rev and
yeah.
and the Euros places are the only places that are open
Yeah.
at 3 a.m.
Yeah, a
on
lot
Harley
of
Street.
alcoholic drinks, especially cocktails, they're so full of sugar, which makes their content really high, their caloric content. And then, yeah, it's every drink that you have. So every standard drink, and most of the drinks people drink are not standard, they're above, but every standard drink is a full hour. So if you have 6 standard drinks, anything you eat in those 6 hours is just getting tucked away because your body's trying to get the alcohol through.
Eating's cheating.
So we do have a little diagram that gives you a bit of a rundown of the caloric content of common drinks, but again, that's just the content of the drink, and those calories are just going to sit there until the alcohol is pushed through. So we did touch a little bit on this already. So training, nutrition, meal timing. Regardless of whether your goal is to lose body fat or not, you need to fuel around your workouts. Working out fasted, not eating after you train, those things are going to have the opposite effect of what you're looking for. So your biggest meals, if you are trying to lose body fat, your biggest meals should be bumpered around your training. What you eat depends on how soon before and after, but you want to get some protein and carbs in at both ends. You probably don't want to go too heavy if it's close to your training time. There are some good little options on. No, I don't have it on there, but you do have you've got some pictures down here of some good options of pre and post workout. Okay, so without fuel, if you don't fuel your body, your strength is limited. So if you're doing strength training, your available output is lower. And for your muscles to grow, they need to be pushed to their limit. So you're actually inhibiting the muscle growth from what you could be doing if you had enough fuel in your body. So that's point 1. So your growth is going to be slower. Faster training forces your body to break down the muscles for energy. So you're actually going to be using those muscles as more of a source of energy if the carbs aren't there. And over time, if you are doing this continuously, your body is burning fewer calories because your metabolic efficiency decreases. So your body just goes, okay, well, she's starving me. This is my baseline. So we're just gonna sit here. So your energy will feel low, you'll feel shit, and you won't be losing body fat, and you will be losing muscle. It also elevates your cortisol levels to keep yourself in that state. It's stress on the body. Elevated cortisol leans towards storing fat, especially in the belly. Slower recovery from training, so you're going to be sorer for longer. And a reduced carb tolerance, meaning that when you do give your body carbs, it doesn't know what to do with them and doesn't use them as efficiently, and then they go into storage. All of these things can be reversed. This is not a permanent state, but it may take a little bit of time if you've been doing that to your body for a long time.
Example, a lot of people put themselves in such a depleted state to do one of those fitness comps. So once that fitness comp's over, not only they deprive their body of so much nutrition to get to that state, they're just ready to take everything in after their competition's done, and you'll just find like it just wreaks havoc on their body, and like they'll literally could potentially put on like 10, 15 kilos in like a week or two, just from the body not knowing what to do with all this, all these extra calories and all this things that they hadn't been accustomed to eating for such a long period of time.
And definitely competition is a very specific extreme sport.
Yeah.
And you want to be under the guidance of a good coach if you're going to do something like that. There's a process to come back out of it. But you guys on the challenge, there's a process to come back out of the deficit that you're on as well. If we got to the end of the 8 weeks and you follow your diet to a T, and then we get to the end and we're like, we're done, off you go, and you just start eating normal, or you don't even know what to eat, or you may even have a little bit of a fear of what to eat because you've done all this good work, it really messes with you. We will dial you back step by step back to what would be like a, what do you call it?
Homeostasis, is it? Like
maintenance.
Maintenance,
Maintenance is the
yeah.
word I was looking for. Maintenance calories. Maintenance calories are a window. We work out a number, but there's a window around that. And
you can't go from being in a big deficit straight to maintenance.
in one jump.
It
has to be
step by step.
Yeah. And on that point, we're talking about gaining masses of weight in a short period of time. What does it take to gain a kilo of body fat? Roughly 3,500 calories is what it takes to gain a kilo of body fat. It sounds like a lot. So 3,500 calories over your maintenance. So your maintenance may be anywhere between 1,600 to 2,500. You'd have to have another 3,500 to gain a kilo of body fat. This isn't a daily reset. This isn't like I didn't do that in one day, so I'm not going to get, it accumulates. So if you have a little bit more over a period of days, once that accumulation over your maintenance hits that point, that's a kilo. So what actually is that? So we've got some examples. Cadbury, if you're looking at just a plain Cadbury block, you're looking at 3.5 family size blocks over and above your maintenance. A lot of people will have like their evening treat. They'll sit down with a partner or a friend and share a block, like over their favorite TV show. You're not doing that instead of a meal. You probably had dinner before. So if you look at the serving sizes on your Cadbury, one serve on plain Cadbury is 1 row, 4 squares. That is, write myself some notes. So 4 squares is 133 calories. That's okay, that's manageable. Who stops at 1 row? You're gonna have half a block if you're sitting there with your partner, right? So half a block of this is 532 calories. That's a decent meal. So that's a decent meal on top of what you already ate that day. This blew my mind a little bit, which is why I bought this. If you look at the back of this packet, a serving is roughly the same amount of calories. But what it doesn't tell you, unless you know what to look for, is that a serving of this is half of a serving of this. So if you eat half of this block, you are eating over 1,000 calories. That's, for women, probably 2/3 of your calories for the day. And you're eating that on top of all your meals that you had.
Not to mention the glass of wine that you probably had it with. And then your body's trying to get rid of that poison. So it's not really metabolizing any of that chocolate as well.
So really, like, what we're saying here is we're not saying don't treat yourself. It's understanding what effect that's really having. Freedom comes in that moment in between a trigger and a response. I want that, right? That's your trigger. I want that. I feel like that. It's my habit. You can have it. It's a choice. But take a pause and think about the cost. Take one roll off and put the rest away, because if the block is sitting there on the coffee table, you're going to eat it. Like,
Or if you really got to have half that block, take one of your meals away.
but you're gonna suffer with your protein intake and all your other macros and micros that you need. What we do, like Lockie and I, we treat ourselves every day. I did mention this before. One of my meals every day looks something like this. So this is a big serve, and a lot of people tell me they couldn't possibly eat that. I've got no problem putting this away. But, that bottom layer is like a protein, I guess almost like a mousse.
Yeah, that's the
Protein
gelatin.
mousse.
Yeah.
Then you've got a layer of overnight oats, and it's topped with apple, sugar-free maple syrup, and cinnamon. So this is typically something that I'll have around my training. 11sies, I like to call it, but second breakfast. So that meal comes to, I did work out the exact calories for you.
Wait, so you put gelatin powder in there?
I'll tell you exactly how I do it, actually. Actually, pass these around. You guys can all taste one of these. Each one of these is less than 5 calories. This is the base. So have one of those. It is made with gelatin powder, which is bloomed in water, and I add almond milk. You can add any non-dairy milk, and my protein powder. That is half chocolate protein, half salted caramel. That's those two. Blend it in a NutriBullet or a blender. Pour it into whatever you're pouring it into and let it set in the fridge. It doesn't take long. It takes me 5 minutes to do two serves like that in the bottom, and then just chuck it in the fridge for later. So that's treat food for me. I eat dark chocolate as well. I eat dark chocolate every day, but I eat 2 squares of Lindt 95% dark chocolate because it's so rich. I don't need more than that. But this is not like something that was a flick switch overnight. You know, I used to eat Nutella on white bread with my kids. But I changed things around. For me, it was my gut health that was the catalyst to do that. And I just started having less sugar in my coffee and less sugar, and then just sweetener, and then no sugar. I went from Cadbury chocolate to 85 or 70%, and I was like, oh my God, this is gross. But then I started really liking it, and darker, my palate just changed till I liked it darker, and now if I have a piece of this, it actually grosses me out with how sweet it is. These will sit in our pantry now probably until next Nutrition 101. Neither of us want them. Like, it's just, your palate changes if you give it time. But if you try and change everything at once, we've got like a breaker switch. We're just, neurologically, we're just not designed to do that. And you'll hit a point where that something will trigger it and you'll go and eat the whole block. Like, so just give yourself little changes. It's the 1%ers. It's layering those 1%ers one on top of each other.
Just reiterating that 80% whole food, 20% soul food. You don't
And
have to give everything up all at
switches,
once.
like sugar-free maple syrup versus yeah. I really like the Steves, but you can only get that at Woolies. That's almost 0 calories. I don't know how they do it. It's magical. But it tastes really good. Like, every Sunday we have protein waffles. Like, we had them this morning. I think Lockie put the picture up in the group. They taste amazing, but the calorie content of that versus going out to like Waffle House it's like chalk and cheese. So it's a process of learning to love what's good for you, but it is a step-by-step process. It's not overnight. And I think a lot of people overestimate what they can do in a short window of time, but they underestimate what those little 1%ers are going to do if you're consistent over time. Muscle versus fat. I don't know if I need. Do you want to touch anything else on that one?
No, I think
No.
next one's
Cool. All right. Preparation is the key to success. We're all busy. We've got busy lives, and when you are busy and hungry, if you don't have the right things prepared, best of intentions go out the window. Like, it's really hard. You're going to go for whatever's available. So if you make sure that what you want to eat when you are in a state that is not hungry, make that available for later when you are hungry, that's what you're going to grab. So prepping your meals, I mean, those gelatin bowls, I'll make 2 at once, takes me 5 minutes. You could prep up a week of those, like your lunches. Just get some good, decent Tupperware, put some things aside, do 3 or 4 days at once. Even your snacks, if you're having nuts and fruit, little foil pouches with the weighed content in there, and just put it somewhere that when you're hungry, you'll grab that. It's going to have a huge difference to just sticking your hand in the nut jar, because that's what we do when we're hungry.
Like Brody touched on the core meals. Give yourself those. When you don't have time to prepare, have those backup options sitting in a chest freezer or a freezer at home with the pre-prepared macro meals. My Muscle
Core
Chef.
meals, My Muscle Chef, Fitness Outcomes, they're available at any supermarket. And the really good thing about those is if you're tracking your calories, MyFitnessPal is the app we recommend. We'll touch on that in a minute.
Just scan the barcode.
Scan the barcode. They're a healthy size in terms of the caloric content, and generally they have really good protein and everything in there. You can usually choose if you want more or less carbs, depending on what, like they usually, some brands will have a bulk and a lean, so you can pick and choose. Having them in your freezer is, yeah, it's a really good idea, because we're all busy. We're all busy, we've all got lives. The one thing I will say is the things that we resist the hardest, they're usually the things that are going to have the biggest payoff for us. So in terms of tracking your calories and using an app, before you've done it, you won't want to do it. No, I didn't want to do it. I was like, but then as soon as I started doing it, I found it incredibly empowering. I knew what was healthy and what was not healthy, but it was really eye-opening to learn about the portion sizes. And even though something's healthy doesn't mean you can have it in a high quantity. Just sort of, it was really empowering. It gives you the ability to really choose. Freedom's in choice, and there's a lot of freedom in structure as well, which sounds wrong, but it's mentally, if you've got a structure in place, we've all got decision-making fatigue. There's a limited amount of decisions that your brain is available for every day. So if you're taking some of those decisions off the table by having a plan, it makes life so much easier and you feel a lot more empowered. So yeah, MyFitnessPal, calorie counting. It's not the only app out there. There's lots out there, and I'm sure lots are pretty good. It's the only one I've ever used though. Essential when you're counting your calories. Guys, on the 8-week challenge, if you're on the diet, you're going to need one of these regardless. You don't need to track if you're actually following the diet, but you do need to weigh everything. So kitchen scales are essential. Usually be picked up for $10 or so. Some
people, like Paula, just sits her bowl on top of the scale and then turns it on, so the bowl itself weighs 0. And then when she gets her portion sizes, she'll just put the food choice in there and then add up the weight to the gram, and then she gets her next one, turns it off, back on again, starts from 0 again. And I do that even with things like, I had waffles this morning, so I put my NutriBullet container on there, and all the raw ingredients were weighed, so then I can put them in MyFitnessPal and I know how much my serve was. Because it's like we share it between us, so it's just half of that. Then I put my cooked waffles on my plate on there, and I put my yogurt on, so I know how much my yogurt weighed. Hit the button, put my berries on, hit the button, put my syrup on. It sounds like I understand why there's resistance to this. I was that, but it's very empowering. It's very empowering. And everybody, tracking doesn't, I don't think that tracking is a forever thing for most people. It shouldn't be. But I think everybody should go through a period of doing it for a certain amount of time so that you really understand. You get a better understanding of what portion sizes equate to what is in front of your eyes, because if you're guessing 100 grams of chicken, it probably in your head looks like more than that. So if you were just throwing 100 grams of chicken on your plate,
without weighing it, you're probably going to be closer to 2. This is 100 grams of chicken. This is also 100 grams of chicken. So understanding cooked weight versus raw weight, the overall size changes, the weight changes, the calorie content doesn't. So this right now weighs 100 grams, this weighs 70, but they're both 100 grams of chicken. Same with the prawns. So you lose about 30% of water volume when you cook something, but the calories stay the same. So that's a really important thing to differentiate. If you're tracking, you usually you do have the option of entering it into your tracker as a raw food or a cooked food, depending on how you want to weigh it.
So can I ask a question around that then?
Yeah.
So this is what confuses me. So that means I would only eat, you're saying this is 70 grams of cooked chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've weighed it as raw chicken.
If you've weighed it as raw chicken, you put it into MyFitnessPal as 100 grams of raw chicken.
Yeah.
But it's going to come out on your plate weighing 70 grams when you cook it.
So then if I'm saying I'm eating 100 grams of chicken, I'm better off doing it cooked? Or I have to do it from raw?
It doesn't matter,
Okay.
as long as you enter it the right way and put it on your plate. So if
And
you
it totals the right amount of calories to what you're doing.
So if you're cooking a batch of chicken for the family, then enter it into MyFitnessPal as cooked.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So if you're only cooking for yourself, you weigh out your 100 grams, you cook it easy. But if you're cooking, I know it's tough when you've got kids and everything, you're cooking a bunch of stuff at once, put it in MyFitnessPal as a cooked weight. Another thing that you'll notice when you jump into MyFitnessPal and you type something in, it's going to give you like a billion different options. It's really important to know that anybody can enter a food into that food bank that is in MyFitnessPal. The most commonly selected choices will have a blue tick next to them. What you have to do is, I know some people that fell into the trap of looking at that list, typing in white coffee, looking at that list and picking the one that was the lowest calories because it made them feel better. That's not going to work for your goals. Be realistic. Look at the one, if you put in the word NUTTAB, N-U-T-T-A-B, I can't remember the actual acronym stands for, but it's something about Australian nutritional guidelines. So those ones, there probably will be a bunch of options. If you put NUTTAB raw chicken, it will come up with a few. Those generally are pretty similar to each other. It doesn't matter which one you pick. If you get that list and you pick one where you've got more things coming up the same than not, and if you're really not sure, err on the side of the higher calories. If you're trying to lose body fat, rather than erring on the side of low calories, put in the one that's higher. It's not going to hurt you. Yeah. Get these out of your way, sorry.
At least not physically. Mentally, it might hurt you a little bit.
Yeah. See if I've missed anything there. Yeah, I think the little catchphrase on that one is calories count even when you're not counting. So if you are cheating yourself on MyFitnessPal, the scale's not going to lie. Yeah. I don't know why that probably should have been at the start of my slide. I'm sure I don't know how that got there.
Just Q&A now.
Oh no, here we go. So this goes along with counting. So carbs, that's a potato or a sweet potato.
Sweet potato.
Yeah, we did touch on this already. 4 calories per gram, 4 calories per gram, 9 calories per gram for your fats and oils. Yep. Okay, so tips to sticking forward with your calorie deficit without feeling deprived. Like Lockie and I love food. We love to eat. I'm really good at getting maximum volume for minimum calories when we're on a cut. It comes down to the choice of foods. If you have a look on your next page, you'll see some. No, you'll see some. Oh, hang on. I'll go forward and then I'll skip back. You'll see some pictures here where there's an illustration of 1,600 calories. That's probably like a whole day's worth of calories for some people. You've got 2 options here, where you've got a can of Coke, a sandwich, something baked, and some chips. That's your 1,600 calories gone. Versus the other side. I will pick 8 meals over a sandwich and a croissant, like every day of the week. if you want tips and pointers, like just hit me up. I've got some things. You may not like the foods that I like, which is why we don't always put them into challenge meals. I try and make it as palatable as possible, but there's always things you can do to add volume. So you want to choose satiating foods if you are in a calorie deficit. So what's going to make you feel full? You want whole, unprocessed foods. The more processed something is, the more it's going to just pass through your system without making you feel full. Fiber and protein are going to help a lot with making you feel full. Your body has to work to get them through. So whereas like a white bread, that's just going to pass straight through. That's already been basically processed, is almost like pre-digested. It's just going to go.
Also, like the processed foods, they also put things in there that send signals to your brain to say, I want it, I want more of that, like now.
Like sugar. Sugar is one of the most highly addictive substances on the planet. Don't be fooled. Like the food industry is an industry. They are out to make money. The health food industry is out to make money, not to actually make you healthy. They will put whatever they can in there to keep you buying more of their product. So the more that you can eat out of whole foods, something that grows in the ground, something that grazes on the ground, those are the things that are going to have you feeling full and have you feeling well and reduce your cravings. High volume foods are things that have a lot of water within them or air. So vegetables have a high water content, things like watermelon, obviously, very high water content. Those things you get to eat more of for less calories. And air, things like popcorn. Popcorn's a great one. And you can mix a little sprinkle of nuts in with your popcorn. You can mix a little sprinkle of dark chocolate in with your popcorn. It tastes like a treat and it will have you feeling more full than if you just ate the chocolate. Definitely have flexibility within your structure. This is the 80-20 rule. So complete deprivation, you're going to hit that breaker switch and you're going to binge. There's nothing, if you tell yourself you can't, just like if anyone else tells you you can't, anything, it's the only thing you want to do. Don't fucking tell me what to do. Yeah. So if you're like, that food is bad, I can't have it, that has a mental effect on you. Because you'll probably eat it anyway. And then not only will you have not enjoyed it because you'll immediately fall into a shame guilt cycle about it, and that can kick off a whole, now I'm going to have more because I already feel crap. It's like a hamster wheel.
So we're talking about sustainable here.
Yeah.
Like there's only probably 3 instances where you're going to go full hog and just eliminate everything. And that has to be for a real strong purpose with an end date.
Yeah.
And it's generally for people, it's a competition like what Paula did. It would be a photo shoot if you're someone that had a goal of looking really good for a photo shoot. So someone that's
wedding
trained.
or
Yes, and
event.
weddings event. Yeah, wedding's the other one.
But
that has an end date. Like in terms of sustainability, the 80-20 rule is the only way it works.
Yeah. It's easy to stay on track when you have a big goal with a date attached to it. It's also really easy to just flick the switch when you get to that date. You really need to have a process ready for when you get to that date so that then you can ease your way back into something that is sustainable for life.
Well, that's it. Like you might have that end date of where you were really strict, but then go to 80-20. Yeah.
But you still need to take steps to get you back to your maintenance. Healthy swaps, I touched on that before. This is how my palate completely changed. Just swapping in things as I came across them, like sugary flavored yogurt for a Greek yogurt or a YoPro. YoPro yogurts are delicious and they're a much healthier option. Sugar replacements, there is an argument that artificial sugars are really bad for you, and some of them are. There are healthier ones to choose. So things like monk fruit sweetener and stevia, they're actually not bad at all. They have an almost 0 calorie content and they don't have very many negative effects at all. The kind of sweeteners like ethanol, if it sounds like a chemical, it's probably not good for you. Is it?
Was it aspartame?
Aspartame and ethanol, yeah. So they don't sound like things you should be having. Those are the kind of sweeteners you'll find in sugar-free soft drinks. Having said that, if you really need something, I would pick the sugar-free over the sugary, because sugar itself is way worse for you. Not just for your body composition, but actually for your body.
Yeah, so like those chemical artificial sweeteners in high amounts disrupt your gut health. That's why they have such a negative effect and why they're demonized a bit as well. But you have to have an excessive amount of those things for it to really disrupt your gut health to the point where it's going to negatively affect your digestive system, essentially.
This one we also touched on. So you've got like a quarter cup of almonds, 206 calories for that versus 133 calories for a whole bowl of popcorn and almonds. Like that's how you shouldn't always be in a calorie deficit. This is something like we want to teach people that this is not, we don't want everybody just jumping on our 8-week challenges twice a year, every year, and then blowing out in between. That's not our goal. We want you to be able to sustain something for life.
That is our main purpose with these challenges. What's different that's provided out there elsewhere, like places like F45 used to get people down to like 800 calories a week, and then as soon as they finished at places like that, people would balloon out bigger than what they were even before that, and they do that so people become reliant on these challenges, where we want to reverse diet people out of this thing and can keep progressing every time if they do continue to choose to do our challenges. If they feel like that they've got more to go, they have that option there, but we understand that it can't be forever. Like it has to go in like cycles.
You don't want to be in this sad cycle of I feel great, I feel shit, I feel great, I feel shit. You want to find that happy medium. And if you've got like a big chunk of weight to lose, or you think that you've got a big chunk of weight to lose, you can definitely kickstart it like this. But our goal is that your habits are going to change, and it just becomes how you eat. When we say our diet, we're not talking about any kind of restriction. It's just how we eat.